Alright, hey guys, Lee here. I just got back from my pre-op appointment with Dr. Raphael in Plano, Texas. And I got actually a lot to say because it was a very full day. Very full day. So my appointment at the American Institute of Plastic Surgery in Plano, Texas was at 11 o'clock this morning, and I got there around 10:45 and went in. And so I checked in, had a few minutes, to sit and just chill, and they called me back, and the first thing they did was take care of the financing part of things, which is understandable because my surgery with the double mastectomy and the body sculpting, which they're going to do my abdomen, my midriff, and my flanks, all with the lipo, is going to cost about $9,750. So I handed over $10,000 today, and that was one of the most painful things I think I've ever done in my entire life. Like, I gave birth to a child, but parting with that much money was way more painful in some ways, because I could think of other things to use it on. Probably not better, but other, and it was just, it was just painful. But anyway, greatest thing I could think of spending that much money on, really, so... So I went in, paid my money, my insane amount of cash, and then I went back with the receptionist, check-in person, and I had to take care of actually some legal stuff because I forgot when I was there for my consultation that my name was different, so I had to update all that stuff, and that actually that's probably why my appointment took like an hour and 15 minutes rather than like 45, because I actually had to wait while they went through and processed all my paperwork over again. And thankfully I had my name change order with me, otherwise I would have left it just as it was. Which it would have probably paid me to go, to go and have all that done and have, my given name on my hand, but, so that got taken care of, and the pre-op nurse came in and gave me like all this wonderful paperwork that I read through. So my appointment is scheduled, or my surgery is scheduled for next Tuesday, which is December 6th at 7 o'clock in the morning, which means I have to be there at 6 in order to do like all the surgery prep, and which means I'm going to have to get up right around 4 o'clock in the morning. Then that morning up. Part of me feels that I'm not going to sleep anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But, it would suck to get to 3, fall asleep for an hour, and get up at 4 and go. And I actually learned a lot of stuff in the pre-op that I didn't know, and I haven't heard a lot of guys say a lot of this stuff, so I'm just going to go over what we talked about. They suggest... now that I'm a week out, to actually start doing a lot of prep to my body to get my body ready for surgery. One of the things that they gave me was like this betadine iodine solution. They told me, wash with it. Sorry, there's something popping up on my screen. I'm going to take care of that really quick. Okay. They said start washing with the solution going from your neck down to your mid-thigh every night for the next week. They also suggested, because I'm not on a multivitamin at the moment, but they suggested getting on one in addition to vitamin C, because all that's going to promote healing. They also said a couple days, to start reducing my salt as much as possible, because that's going to help with the lipo. They said especially after the lipo to start to reduce the salt, because that causes water retention. And especially in the beginning when all that fluid's trying to drain out, you're trying to get all that fluid out of your body and all that excess out of your body, the last thing you want in there is a bunch of fluid, not promoting good healing in that area. She went through and took all my medical, my medical history. She asked me if I ever had any problems with surgery. She also told me that my first post-op appointment is actually going to be the next day at 10 o'clock in the morning. So I actually get done with my surgery. I'm probably going to leave that right around 12 or 1, and then I got to be back the next day at 10. I learned that they don't do drains with the double mastectomy. Dr. Raphael doesn't do drains with the double mastectomy anymore. He instead actually stitches the tissue to the muscle. So, and that's going to create, it's going to get rid of that pocket. The purpose of the drains before was that, you know, you go in and you remove all this breast tissue, but then it leaves this open pocket, and so the drain was inserted so fluid wouldn't build up, and so that the tissue could reattach to the muscle on its own. Now Dr. Raphael is sort of, I guess, forcing that process, but it actually makes more sense to me to do it that way, because I don't understand the point of having like loose skin. I don't see the point of that. It could heal wrong, it could heal incorrectly. This way it's more secure. I'm trying to think what else. When it comes to the body sculpting, there was a lot of stuff that I didn't know. Such as, they're gonna, with body sculpting, for lipo to be done, they actually inject water into the fat cells and then suck the fat cells out. So because they're injecting this water, they have to really closely monitor your input and output of your fluid, which essentially means they gotta monitor your pee. In order to do this successfully and properly, they're going to insert a Foley catheter in me. As soon as I go out, they're going to insert this Foley into me, thankfully, because I don't want to be awake when they put that in. When it comes out, it's not so bad. But when it goes in, I just don't want it. And that has to stay with me through surgery and into the next day. They really suggest pushing the fluids right after surgery, so that bag's going to have to be emptied quite often. And I'm laughing, my girlfriend's going to be the one graciously taking care of me, and I just laugh because she's going to end up dealing with my Foley bag, and I feel bad. And then I'll come out the next day at my first post-op appointment. I also found out that because the drains aren't there and I don't need to wait for anything like that to happen, I actually get to see the majority of my chest the next day, minus my nipples. The nipples I'll get to see at the week mark. Let's see what else. And it made me laugh because one of the things that they talk about as being able to help with the lipo is jacuzzis and hot baths and things, but that's not something I can do because my chest is going to have huge incisions that are going to have to heal. So the wonderfully soothing jacuzzis and hot tubs and warm baths that they promote on my liposuction information sheet, I can't do, which is sort of sad. Let's see. They took my blood. They took a vial of blood from me, which was, really nothing in comparison. If you've gotten your T levels done, it's less blood than that. It's like half a tube. It's absolutely nothing. They did pictures. They did do pictures. That was, I think, one of the most painful parts of this whole process. Because of the amount of work that I'm having done to my body, they took quite a few pictures. So it was all different poses, and it was just seriously nerve-wracking. It really was. And because they are my pictures, I asked to see them, and that was probably a mistake. I probably should have waited, because when I saw them, I'm like, oh, that's not good looking at all. Which I realize is why I'm doing this in the first place, but, it just... so pictures were done. And also, this is actually kind of cool. I'm really thinking about this one. I was telling the nurse, or the consultation woman, I'm like, I got a YouTube channel up, and I throw up videos, and this is the big thing, because every trans guy wants his top surgery. It's the day we almost all dream about. Some of us dream about bottom surgery, but majority of us dream about top surgery, I think. And I'm like, and there's not a lot for Dr. Raphael. I know a lot of guys who've gone. I've gone 3 or 4, but I don't know many who've posted on it. So she says, oh, well, you should, totally post videos about us and whatever. And I'm like, yeah, because it's a good clinic and the people are friendly and they use proper pronouns, and even when, you know, the woman had to go reprint my information like three times because of my name change issues, you know, she didn't get attitude, she didn't get frustrated, you know, it was all in good humor, and, you know, she couldn't figure out why I changed my name to a feminine name. You know, she's like, I didn't get it. I'm like, oh, well, I didn't change it to a masculine name. But, you know, I didn't get any grief from her about it or anything like that. And so then the woman offered or said that I could bring my video camera and have some of my top surgery and lipo like recorded. I'm like, ooh. I mean, I'm sort of I'm very bizarre when it comes to stuff like that. Like, I don't. It doesn't do anything. Like, the human body really doesn't do anything. And if I make it through, you know, I couldn't watch it as it's happening to me. You know, like, I wouldn't have been able to watch when I was going through a cesarean and they were taking my son, like, from my body. You know, I probably would have lost it. But, you know, to have, like, my top surgery and my procedure recorded so that I can go back and, like, look at it and maybe post some of it, I'm like, hell, that sounds pretty cool. So I'm really thinking about doing that. I told my girlfriend that I was going to give her the camera while I'm in surgery. So, you know, if she had stuff she wanted to tell me, you know, and I wasn't, like, right there and she was nervous or something, she could, you know, talk to the talk. I know that sounds stupid, but I figured she could record it and I would be able to watch it later, you know. So, I don't know, it was, you know, that was just really interesting. And so after that, I left, and I ate, like, my last Chipotle meal, I think, because the sodium in it's so damn high. I think I'm pretty much done with Chipotle, which is really sad, except for, like, a special occasion, probably. I also went and dropped off my scripts, and I have to say, it's sort of weird to drop off a script with, you know, with a letterhead that says, like, you know, plastic surgery. You know, people are probably wondering, what the fuck is he doing? Plastic surgery? What? So, so I went and I dropped that off. I picked those up tomorrow. I went and I got my multivitamin and my vitamin C and all that. And that starts tonight for the next week. And probably on, because it's probably a good idea to just take one anyway. So, I think that's it. Yeah, that's probably I think that's it. But I mean, it was a really long pre-op. Like, most guys just like, oh, I went to pre-op, they took pictures, they took blood, and that was pretty much it. No, it's very in-depth. And in some ways, like, for some reason, though, and I don't understand why, like, surgery still seems very surreal to me. It doesn't seem like it's happening. It probably really honestly won't seem like it's happening until my ass is in the car at 4 o'clock in the morning, like driving to have my surgery, because for some reason I keep having this feeling like something's gonna happen, something's gonna fuck it up, something just isn't gonna go right, you know, I'm gonna get sick, I'm gonna get, you know, just something I think is gonna go wrong. And, you know, even less than that, in some way it seems sort of almost impossible, I guess, to say that, you know, my chest is going to be gone and I'm going to be flat. You know, I also thought, but the funny thing is, I thought this when I started testosterone too, and I said, you know what, my voice isn't going to drop. The testosterone, you know, I had this horrible dream, and I kept having it, where, like, the testosterone didn't do anything, or it did something and then everything went back. You know, I think that's kind of where I am mentally with surgery. It's like, you know, either I'm going to wake up and I'm still going to have a chest, or I'm still going to have a gut. I really don't have a gut. Like, it's, you know, it's there, but it's not huge. But they're going to do all this stuff, and then everything's going to grow back. You know, that's like my ultimate fear, I think, is going through all this and having, you know, saved this, and, you know, having taken out a small loan to cover, like, a very small portion of it, and everything to come back. So, but theoretically it won't. The surgeon's done good work. I've seen his work. I've seen his work 2 years later, so I'm hoping for the best. I think he'll do a really good job. I trust him. He's very personable. So anyway, that's all I have. I'm running out of time. So I hope everyone's doing good, and I'll talk to y'all soon.